That's what's bad for us. But back to the fructose. Let me show you how amazing fruits is. If you are diabetic and your pancreas is down because whether it got a fluke worm in it, Fascioloscus buski worm in it, a hookworm, a thread worm, usually you find parasites inside of the pancreas when somebody is suffering from diabetes, and you find that mucus is down or the adrenals are down because the adrenals is in control of something called the autonomic nervous system. The prefix to autonomic is auto. These are things that runs on autopilot. Digestion is supposed to be on autopilot. The flickering of your eyes is on autopilot. Your breathing and your lung capacity is on autopilot. The heartbeat is on autopilot. All these are controlled by the parasympathetic, sympathetic, autonomic nervous system. Well, your pancreas yielding insulin, that's a nervous system issue because the adrenals are down. And the reason why the adrenals are down because you're eating the wrong foods, and these foods are creating toxins and byproducts that you're not getting out of your body because you haven't opened up the lymphatic system and the kidneys to filtrate all of that toxemia out, or your skin is not working. Now check this out. That's the pancreas being down. So what food can I eat that don't break down the glucose? The only other food that I got is fructose. Now, would you glucose load for a couple of days? Yes, you will, because you introducing your body to a new sugar. But it's a natural occurring sugar by Yahweh. Look, so you have two types of digestion, right? You have pancreas digested enzymes that break down the actual glucose. Not only that, the pancreas yield the islets of Langerhans and yields insulin to turn that key to bring glucose to the cell for you to have energy. Fructose completely bypass the pancreas. It go a lipid route. This lipid route is through the liver, and then it's called cellular infusion, where the actual sugar will infuse itself in the cell and don't even use the pancreas. And there's plenty articles, the government articles written up on this, and we have the clinical trials with at least 100 diabetics that prove this stuff, that we healed on an all-fruit diet with minimum herbs.
So let me ask you, because that was a beautiful breakdown, first of all. You understand me? I can definitely tell you well studied in your science. We talked about ATP. Which fruits have the greatest production for ATP?
We would say high yielding fruits, the fruits that grows the highest to the sky. So now we're talking about carbohydrates. And all that is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen mixed together. So once that oxygen get out, these are called high yielding carbon constituent chains.
Like bananas?
So bananas will give you a high yielding ATP, but bananas are on the starchy side. So I never recommend anybody eating bananas that's trying to cleanse, because now you're going to start building up a whole lot of glycogen on the liver. You see what I'm saying? So we would say things like mangoes, coconut water, very electrical. Cucumbers, very electrical. Now we're starting to get into something that you would call H3O2 chains, not H2O, which is water like this. See, this water dehydrates you. That's why the more this water you drink, the more dehydrated you are. See, but if you drink the beautiful thing about fruit.
Welcome everyone to Become Your C, where I talk about everything related to mental health. This week we are going to talk about how climate change and seasonal change affects people, those that are already suffering from mental health disorders and those that don't. But before I get into that, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Become Your C, TikTok at Become Your C, Facebook BYC Become Your C, or Christina McIntyre. My website is under construction right now. Just feel free to check back in, and I'll keep you updated on everything. Towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year, I'm going to have some new and exciting things along with my business. Just keep on checking in. If you're interested in learning about the holistic approach to mental health, dealing with the chakras, feel free to inbox me. We can have a conversation. Right now, I have all those items on sale. And also, I have 2 books that are available for your purchase to help you on your spiritual journey as well. Also, if you're ever at any time feeling suicidal, you need someone to talk to, don't feel like you're alone. There are people out there that's willing to help you. You can call the suicide hotline at 1-800-273-8255, or they have an updated website. It's 988lifeline.org, or you can also now text them at 988, and it will connect you right to staff that would be more than willing to help you. So, getting into today's topic, climate change and seasonal change affects people differently, especially with weather getting cooler outside. Most people suffer from more depression during this time. Remember, 1 in 5 adults suffer from mental health illness each year. That's roughly 43.8 million. Climate change just doesn't impact people with mental health illness, it can impact the whole population and globally as well. Climate change can impact people through extreme weather, droughts, even seasonal change. It can cause people to lose jobs, force people to move, or lose their social support. Mental health illness is caused by these extreme weather conditions are increased panic and anxiety, depression, suicide or suicidal thoughts, also PTSD. Also, there has been shown that there is an increase in violence and aggressive behavior during this time, which can lead to abuse, and more alcohol and drug addictions can increase as well. Most people affected by climate change are the elderly, children, people that already suffer from chronic illness, pregnant women or women that are postpartum, people with cognitive and mobility impairments, also people that's already struggling with mental health illness. So if you look at society as a whole, a lot of things impact us. For example, if it's a drought, right, we're lacking water. So the water supply that we don't have, we can't take showers, we can't have it to drink. So it definitely impacts how we feel. Like if we are not showered and we're not feeling clean, that can affect how we feel about ourselves. Also, when it's extreme weather conditions, let's say the roads are blocked because of trees falling, so a lot of people go into panic, such as like when 2020 first happened, that pandemic, everyone was rushing out to get supplies, to get food, to get water, and it sometimes can cause a hysteria. So you have to be mindful of the climate. It's not something that we can control, but I urge people to prepare ahead of time. Medications can actually interfere with a person's ability to regulate climate change. Certain medication can affect how you feel. You can't tell the difference between when the temperature is going up or down, so that can impact as well. Um, People that already suffer from mental health disorders most likely are already living in poverty. So when extreme situations happen, that can make their illness worse. Disruptions in routine can cause extreme stress. A lot of us operate by routine on a day-to-day basis, and so when something like this happens, a lot of times we don't know what to do, especially if we aren't prepared. Most people, again, go in panic mode. They start getting anxious, they get worrisome. They don't know how their life is going to be from day to day. The stress of it all, again, can cause those addictions. So we need to be mindful and where we're at in our environment. A lot of people pay attention to the weather, pay attention to what's happening around them. More than half of the people in the U.S. Worry about climate change affecting their mental health. Now, this doesn't include those already suffering from mental health illness. A lot of times, those are already suffering. We already worry day to day about stress and anxiety and panic. So this is normal to us, but again, it adds on more stress. And as relation into climate change, we also have something called SAD, which stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder. This happens when the weather, specifically, and the transition from fall to winter, people get more depressed, more sad, because the sun is not out as much as it usually is. It affects people's moods. People can tend to get suicidal, and especially around the holiday times, a lot of people do get more depressed because maybe families have died around this time, maybe they don't have the support that they need. People that already suffer from depression, this impacts them at a greater rate. It affects 0.5 to 3% of the general population. These are people that don't suffer from mental health illness. 10 to 20% that already suffer from major depressive disorder, and then 25% of people with bipolar disorder wind up getting SAD, which is the seasonal affective disorder. A lot of things we can't control. We can't control our environment. So I urge people just to be ready, like whether you pay attention to what's happening in your immediate environment or globally. Always make sure that you have extra things on hand, like extra food, just in case. Some people live in states where the weathers are really extreme during the winter time, so they don't have access to the stores. Make sure you're stocked. Make sure you have extra items such as first aid, medications if you need it. Just be ready for anything to happen, because especially right now, if you pay attention, the weather is not, especially it seems to me, it's not what it used to be. Right now, we're supposed to be in fall. Fall's supposed to be the cooler months, and we're having days where it's getting hotter, and that's affecting people as well. That's affecting their allergies, affecting whether they get the cold or the flu or not. And with everything else that's going on related to like COVID, people go into panic mode. And what we don't want is that, because when people panic, they start doing crazy things. They may rob people. They may get frustrated, start being, again, more aggressive, more angry. They are recluse to themselves. They stop doing things that bring them enjoyment. Again, we can't control what's on the outside, so we have to continue to move forward and doing what we normally do, right? Function as you normally do, but make sure you have a backup plan. And a backup plan is good, especially in situations where you can't control. Some solutions to climate change have a good support system, whether it's one person or you have a group of people. Make sure you have that in place. That way, when those feelings get overwhelming, you have someone that can relate to you. Never feel ashamed for having those thoughts and those feelings. It can help you come out of that headspace that you're in. Most of the time, we feel down and out. Like depression is also related highly to what we consume, what we drink. So sometimes paying attention to what your everyday lifestyle, all of those are related to an increase in mental health issues during these times. Also, your day-to-day activity. Our bodies are made to move. And so when we sit more often, we become more depressed. And so when you move your body, as regards to exercise or you work, it increases the endorphins, which makes you overall feel better. Meditation, and I preach this a lot, meditation not helps only your body, but your mind as well. And if you're into spirituality, the spiritual side of things, meditation puts everything into perspective, right? It forces you to see reality for what it is, and then it helps you come to terms with a lot of changes. Many of us, it's hard to adapt to change. We're so used to something, and when things happen that throw us off course, we don't know what to do. So again, we can't control everything, but with meditation, it teaches you how to control yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions. And a lot of times we get affected by stuff because of our reaction. So I definitely encourage you. YouTube is a good place to start if you don't know how to meditate, or you can just sit with yourself and close your eyes and just allow your thoughts to come to play. Writing is a good form of meditation as well. Just find something that can bring you some type of peace. Even though, like, especially during the winter months, the sun is not out as much as it used to be. Get out as much as possible. Open a window, right? I believe that opening windows, lighting incense, you clear out the air that's stuck in your home, right? Allow the energy to flow freely. That can enhance your mood. Take a nice bath with candles lit. Baths are good for just relaxation. Sip a cup of tea. Do something that enhances your quality of life. And again, be realistic about what you can and cannot do. A lot of us, we want to control everything, right? Even the weather, right? People get upset. You see them driving, especially when it's raining or it's snowing outside, because it is what it is. We can't control the weather. So a lot of times you see people with road rage. Um, and what happens is they get so frustrated. One, that can lead to a heart attack, a stroke. The more you stress, the more it impacts your body as well, and then your quality of life. Because if you wind up getting a, let's say, heart attack or a stroke, and you wind up in the hospital, let's say you have a job, you may be away from your job, or it can impact your family as well if you don't pull through like you thought you would. So instead of jumping so quickly to control something, control yourself. Like for me, I don't like being in traffic either, but I've learned how to channel my energy. If I have to be stuck in a situation like that for a long period of time, I put on music, right? Music, to me, it always helps whatever situation that you're in. So if you can't change the environment you're in, just change the way that you look at it. So that is pretty much all that I have for you, and I just wanted to give a couple pointers to make sure that during climate changes, or especially the weather changes, that you have yourself in check, make sure your mental is okay, plan and prepare. There is only so much um, preparation we can do, but we can prep ahead of time, such as when the weather is extreme and we can't get outdoors, make sure that we have extra food, extra water, first aid, medicines if needed. For your mental, make sure you have Wi-Fi if needed. Make sure that you have books, writing utensils, paints that you can paint, arts and crafts. Do something to keep your mind off of what's going on the outside, right? For me, music is vital every single day in order for my mental to stay intact. You know yourself. You know what works for you. Make sure that you're eating the best foods that you can. And I know that it's hard. Like, pockets is tight. Some people can't afford the better quality food. Make sure you can do as much as you can do. But food affects our body, right? It affects our mental as well. So make sure that you are putting in so that your mental health can be as vibrant as possible. Physical, you can move. If you can't get outside, you can move indoors. Everyone has access to a phone. You don't need a TV. YouTube has plenty of workouts. A lot of them are fun. That's what I utilize for me every single day. I go on YouTube and I make sure that I give my body what it needs. We can't control outside. We can't control the world around us. We can't control the universe. Things are going to happen and we can't stop it, right? The only thing we can do is to control how we react to it. Everything starts in our mind. It affects our cell signals, right? What we think, it sends signals to our body. And what happens is our body reacts to those signals. So we have to try hard each and every day to make sure that we stay afloat. Every day is not going to be the same, right? Just like the weather, every day is not going to be the same. But what we can do is have things in place to make sure that we are operating at our ultimate best, right? And sometimes maybe 50% is all we can give for that day, and that is okay. Make sure you set time for yourself each and every day. And I know that it's hard. I know it's a struggle. You got to work. You got things to take care of. I know. But you have to give yourself time each and every day to give back to you, to make you feel important, even if it is for those moments. I say 30 minutes every day you can give yourself. For me, I give myself 30 minutes every morning to work out, to write, to read, to do something that takes me away from the chaos of the world. Because we can't control the chaos. The world is chaotic, right? Find your center. Find your peace. Find your calmness, and whatever that be. It could be in a cup of coffee. It could be in a glass of wine. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you give that to yourself. Make sure that you know that you only can control here. Take a second in any situation and just breathe. Breathing is so important because it allows oxygen to travel through our veins, through our blood, and it gives us time to stop, think, pause, so that we can gain composure. A lot of times we react off of momentary situations, and the first reaction is not always the best. I believe we can get through anything. Life is full of challenges. Climate is one of them, something that we can't control. But you can get through it as long as you know you have the tools in front of you, as long as you have that plan in front of you. You can get through anything. Just make sure you're prepared. That's as much as I have for y'all this week. I hope y'all tune in each and every second and fourth Sunday. Become Your C. I will be talking about all things related to mental health. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Become Your C, Facebook BYC Become Your C, TikTok at Become Your C. My website is almost finished, so be prepared. I have a lot of exciting new things that I'm going to bring forth to y'all. I want y'all to tune in. Also, I have 2 books available. Become Your C, 21 Poems to Ignite Your Spiritual Journey. The other one is I Feel Everything. It's my interpretations of the 7 main chakras. And if you're ever interested in learning about the holistic approach to mental health, you can always message me as well. If you're struggling and you just need someone to reach out and talk to, message me as well. If you're interested in anything that I have to sell related regards to the spiritual journey, about the chakras, message me as well. There's a video that's posted on my main page that talks about that. Remember that all we have is today, this moment. Make the most of it. Make sure that you are living your life at its full capacity. And I know that every day is not the same, but you can give as much as you can give in that day, and each day, find a moment of peace so that you can give yourself that grace and that gratitude. Appreciate everything. That's how you receive more abundance. Till next time, everyone, fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you.